Okay, my name is Gray Payne, and I'm doing my movement autobiography for motor development. And here I am over the phone with my mother, Nina Payne, just asking her some questions about my motor development over my lifetime. So, Mom, if you could just tell me, talk about how my verbal skills and my talking skills developed over my lifetime.
Okay, well, first I want to say that Gray is the fourth child with three older sisters. So when he was little, he really didn't need to talk. All he had to do was point and grunt, and his sisters would get him whatever he wanted. So you didn't need to talk for a long time. But you did start saying words like ball and mama. If I remember right, maybe about 8 or 9 months old. But by the time you were 2, I mean, you had a fascination with machinery and equipment and log trucks.
Yeah.
And you could say, like about 2.5 or 3, you could say articulated backhoe. And it just blew everybody away because you could say articulated backhoe. So it took you a while to get started talking because there was no need to. But once you did, you used really big words.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say about my verbal skills?
You have the gift of gab now. So, okay.
All right. So now we're going to talk about my skills regarding walking over my lifetime.
Okay. You probably started crawling about the normal time, and because you were fourth child, I really don't remember. But I'm guessing like about 8 months or so. I'm not really sure. But again, you had 3 big sisters that carried you around everywhere. So you really didn't need to walk much either. But you did really start walking when you were about a year old. And once you started walking, then you started running. And I do remember you had this wooden wagon with a big handle on the back, and you would push it around and put all your toys and blocks and stuff in that wagon. And that's how you started walking, was with that red wooden wagon.
Yeah, and isn't one thing that you mentioned is that I was able to talk before I was able to walk?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would say that, yeah.
All right. Now we're going to discuss the riding a bike, because that was a major milestone in my life. That's a major milestone in every child's life.
Right, because it gives you freedom from home,
It does.
When you were real little, like, 2 or so, or 1.5, you had this little scooter trike that was wooden, and you could sit on it and just use your legs, to push you along.
Sure.
And then you graduated from that to a tricycle, and it was actually the tricycle that I used when I was a child at my grandma's house. So it was really old and had been welded, but the handles had been welded back onto it. I took it to work and let one of the guys weld it. So that's the tricycle you used, and then you graduated from that to a bike with training wheels, maybe when you were about 4, I'm not really sure. And then you rode a bike without training wheels, I think about 6, but I'm not positive. But we lived in a little tiny town called St. Mary's, Georgia, with a really cool downtown area, and so back then it was safe enough just to let kids ride bikes. So you could ride your bike just about everywhere in this little bitty town and be safe. So that was huge for a child back then, to be able to ride a bike by yourself.
Okay, from what you remember, like, how did my skills develop over, like, getting on the bike and with the training wheels to slowly being able to take the training wheels off?
I do remember with the training wheels, it was like no problem. You could ride it really well, and taking the training wheels off. And this was kind of before bike helmets, so I do remember you falling, a lot, and us letting you fall, because that was the way you learned to
keep my balance,
pedal faster, so you wouldn't fall, or put your leg down so you could stop and not fall.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to discuss about bicycle skills?
I think that's good.
All right, so now we're going to talk about your favorite one, which is the driving part.
Okay. So you were riding a bike like when you were about 6 or 7, and in this small town we lived in, you could ride or drive golf carts around town on the sidewalks. And of course, a lot of people drove them on streets. So Gray was probably driving a golf cart. You probably were about 12 when you started driving a golf cart. In this little town, that was kind of normal. And then, Mimi and Grandy had the golf cart here, so you would drive the golf cart all over the farm here. And then you went from a golf cart at about 12. You may have even been younger. And do you remember when we had the four-wheeler?
Oh, yeah, I do remember my four-wheeler.
Okay, so you drove the four-wheeler, and then when you were about 14, your granddaddy put you on a tractor for the first time. And it's like, okay, I want you to drive this tractor over there and pick this stuff up and bring it back over here. So he had you on the tractor at the farm starting about 14. And they also gave you the keys to the truck, the farm truck, when you were about 14. And so you were driving around the farm, young. And then I remember you taking driver's ed at school. You were either 15 or 16, I can't remember. But the high school, we just had one high school in our county, and you just about had to get on Interstate 95 coming out of Florida into Georgia to get to the school. So one of the main things they made y'all do was to practice getting on and off the interstate, and you were 16 years old. So once you started driving, you had to really pay attention because you were on the interstate, a real busy interstate. So you picked that up really well. Okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about with driving?
You were probably the easiest one to teach.
Okay.
Of you and your three sisters.
Okay.
And I still like to stomp on my pretend gas pedal brake when I'm riding with you some, but you are the easiest one to teach.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. The last one we're going to discuss is the act of catching. Because like I was saying, I played baseball growing up and football, and from what I remember when I was really little, I always had trouble catching. Like I would turn my face away because I was scared of the ball, or I would flinch or jump when the ball came my way, or I never wanted to make contact with the ball. I always wanted to try to avoid the ball. So, from what you remember from me, discuss me at a very young age playing baseball, being scared of the ball, to playing football in high school, being able to catch a ball head on. What do you remember about that process?
Okay, I remember I think we had you in soccer maybe when you were about 4.
Okay.
4 or 5, and you would love to get out there and kick the ball before the game, but as soon as the game started, if the ball came to you, you would run the other way.
Okay.
So you didn't like the ball coming to you or the crowd of people coming to you, so you would turn and run the other way. And then when you started in T-ball, and of course everybody at that age is being taught how to catch the ball.
Sure.
And this is one of the things, not having a dad in your life to teach you how to catch a ball.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't do that. So you missed out on having that. So it was your coaches and everything that taught you to hold your glove a certain way and, try to catch the ball, but you were still real skittish about it. And I remember in middle school when you started playing football, you would really turn away from because they knew you were going to be a receiver or something like that, and you would kind of turn away from it to catch it, and those coaches had to teach you how to turn your body and do your arms a certain way, and you would catch it with your face sometimes, in the face, but you went from running the other way at soccer to running a full route in high school and catching a football. So, you even got to be on the field at the Georgia Dome throwing with our quarterback, our high school quarterback when we were playing state championships. So you were his practice catcher and thrower. So you came a long way from running the other way in soccer.
And more stuff I remember about catching is how I remember just how starting off from T-ball, having my glove up and wanting to avoid the ball at all costs.
Yes.
Well, another thing I remember happening was when I played football in middle school, it was during receiver drills. What we would do to warm up was he would tell us to grab a partner, and we would just play a game of catch with our partner. And the coach, I love playing catch with my partner. You remember that I always wanted to throw the football growing up.
Yeah.
But while I was playing catch with a partner, the coach pulled me aside and was like, Gray, you have not dropped a single ball playing a simple game of catch. So today at practice, whenever you're running these hard routes, while running full speed, I expect you to be able to catch every ball.
Uh-huh.
So it's just stuff like that.
Which coach was that?
That was Ben Croxton.
Oh, Lord help us. Okay.
Good coach.
Bless his heart. Okay. He's a good guy.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to talk about as far as my catching skills?
No, I think that covers it all. You came a long way.
I have. So,
Came a long way.
is there anything else you like to say about my motor development skills over my lifetime? Just besides the fact that how far I've come.
Well, I think that's one of the main things. You're the fourth child with 3 older sisters, so you hardly had to talk. You just had to point and grunt, and they would hand you whatever you wanted.
Okay.
They carried you everywhere, so you really didn't need to walk, for a long time. And then you were scared of a ball for so long. So,
you're right.
I mean, look at how far you've come from that.
Okay. Any other closing remarks you'd like to give?
No, just I'm proud of you, honey. Really proud of you. Okay?
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Good luck.